Brothers, who can guess what I'm making here, what I'm drinking? Anyway, I'm about to head out for a hunt, and I thought before I go, scoff this, I'll make a very short video for you good bastards. Right, what am I drinking? Clue, it tastes like nothing. Very, very boring drink. Did you guess? Creatine. Bodybuilders use it, athletes use it, and I use it for one reason only, although it has other benefits, and that is constriction of the heart. Constricting, helping it constrict, as clinical trials show that it really helps you with your heart. So if you want more power on the hill, more power in life, 5 grams a day, sweet as bro, no side effects. Or some people get bloating in their guts, but those are generally people that have other issues that need to be addressed, which is around diet and stuff. So, actually not just diet, also people that have a lot of stress or fear or anxiety. They overproduce too much stomach acid and it doesn't go well with the creatine. But that's about 5% of people. What I want to say is, for you brothers out there right now that are struggling, I'll just pause while I get this coffee sorted. I've gone from using the percolator to plunger in this stainless steel little system. I found the percolator was making it taste burnt. It had this sort of burnt taste, and this is actually nicer, freshly ground. Through my life, I have struggled with perfection, or at least trying to get things perfectly done, and it comes from not being good enough when I was a child at doing stuff, or at least being told I wasn't good enough, mostly by my father. I would show him something. Hey, Dad, I'd be a little boy. I'd be, Dad, look at what I've made. I've made this boat, and he'd always critique it, and it was never good enough. And so I grew up with this thing like nothing I could do would be good enough, and consequently I became an overachiever in my music or everything. When I say overachiever, like pushing myself too hard to try to get results that I thought would be acceptable to people around me and myself. And what I would do is I would beat myself up and get angry as, that's actually an understatement. I'd be carrying this anger all the time, and I didn't know how to cope with it, and I would stumble and ruminate in my mind about how I could fix this thing up, whatever it was. It could, if I stuffed up the smallest thing, instead of going, oh well, I lost that one, I beat myself up over it, and consequently, it was really bad for my physical health, because I would put myself in situations where I would overextend myself and really, really push myself too hard. And it was detrimental to the relationships I had with the people around me that I loved, my children and the people that were in my life that were important to me. I would be hard on them too. And it took me a long time to grow out of that, but I didn't actually grow out of it. And a friend said something one day that just changed everything, and I want to share that with you. I was beating myself up. It was a stupid thing. It was a stupid thing. It was nothing actually. When I look back, it's like, how could I beat myself up so much? I built this boat, which I've still got, and it wasn't quite straight. My father, it was an embarrassment to him, but the boat was functional, and a friend come over, and I said, oh fuck, I just I knew. Like, the old man's embarrassed about that I built this boat, and I was hearing it in my township of Marpur, and people were making jokes about it, and I was joking about it, but underneath, when my dad was displeased, it triggered me. And my mate said to me, how would you respond if I built, he's a good mate, a guy I actually love, he's one of those those mates, and you need to have one of those mates for this to work. It's got to be someone who you really just love, a person that you just want to hang out with and be with and chill with, and someone that you just love. You love them. You've all got those, or had those mates. You might have lost them along the way, but generally they stay for the long haul. And he said to me, how would you respond to me if I built that boat, and what would you say? I said to him, well, I'd probably say it looks rough, bro, but well done, because it did look rough. And he said, would you want to upset me over that? And I said, absolutely not. I tell you the truth, because you and I, we always shoot shit between each other, and we're always honest. And he said, so would you want me to feel bad like you're feeling bad about this? And I said, hell no. And he said, so why are you making yourself feel bad? And I thought about that, and it's a pattern I'd always done. And I said, I don't know. He said, from now on, every time you get angry and you think of something that you've screwed up, imagine that it's me or one of your best mates, and imagine it's them that's done it. Put it outside of yourself, and how would you view that, and how would you want them to be, and how would you want them to react? I thought about that, and I went away, and the next thing that happened was I was going out for a hunt, and I threw this rifle in, and I was actually hunting deer, which I don't do a lot of. I'm a filthy pig hunter, but I was going away for deer. I was up the back of this block in the Richmond Range, and I got the rifle all trued in, and I had a slip on the way up there, and I thought, fuck, I hope I didn't knock that scope. And there wasn't a lot of fallow where I was, but there was this beautiful fallow buck, and it was a cracker. And I lined it up, and it was an easy shot. It was 120 metres. Lined it up, pulled the trigger, and you could see the bullet go way above it on the back, like way out. And he was right in the crosshairs, and he ran away. And I straight away went to go into anger at myself, and I then thought to my mate that had said the same thing, and I thought, God, I just feel sorry for him right now if that happened to him. He'd done all that work, and I wouldn't be wanting to beat him up. I just feel sorry for him. And then I actually had compassion and empathy for myself in the situation instead of me berating myself and beating myself up, and it completely changed everything. And I did that for about a year or so, and then it got to the stage where I stopped just doing it. Just naturally, everything I did, I started treating myself like I'd treat a good mate, and I started being kind to myself instead of beating myself up all the time. And for me, it's really paid off well for my mental health and my physical health, because it was really damaging, and it's also paid off to the relationships with the people I have. Short story. Thought I'd share it with you. Had a bit of a shuffle around last night and put a few things up on the mantelpiece that are important for me. That tar in the middle, my father shot that. That's important to me. But even more important is that one there, and it's not a trophy. It's tiny. It's really tiny. And that's it there on the chair, or at least it's pelt. Anyway, point being is that all of us have to live in our own skin. Nobody else. We've all got to live with our own feelings and emotions. And we don't actually have to please anybody, really, but ourselves. And if we don't get it right, then that's part of the journey. And I've learnt that. And it's been a hard lesson for me, because I come from an upbringing that made it sometimes quite tough if you got it wrong. I don't know if anybody relates to this story, if it's just me. I'm only spouting off things that I've found in my journey. And maybe for everyone else it's quite different. Maybe it's something quite different, I don't know. Who knows? Well, the coffee comes from Swart Cafe, Chloe, in Australia, in Brisbane. How is it today? Oh, one of the joys of life, brothers. Coffee. It is decaffeinated. Oh, I can have that and then put dogs in the truck. And I had two boys that were coming out today, two young fellas, and neither of them got back to me, so it's a solo mission, and I'm quite happy with that. You guys have a great weekend, what's left of it. I'll bang this on the Bro Check Club because I haven't done one for a while. And go steady. And if you have been like me and you've beaten yourself up in the past over things, take a leaf out of old Clay's book. It does work, and you'll feel a lot better for it. Yeah. See you later.